Okay, I'm going to attempt to repair this 160 LED light. This is the second pair of them I've gotten from Amazon, and first pair, a couple of the LEDs up in this area were dark. They didn't light up, and initially they all were working. But after about half an hour of almost full-on use, they failed. So right now we have two LEDs here that are dead. I have attempted to resolder them. Let me turn this off so I can safely flip the board over. As you can kind of see, maybe, let me zoom in a little bit more. Oh, we need more lights. Part of the problem. There we go. Now we shouldn't pass them any shadows on it. Get in. As you might be able to see along here, there's some solder flux left in the mess, and there were some repairs attempted to be made. Matter of fact, over here, before I cleaned it off with some cleaner, there was a little bit of a mess. So what I need to do here is count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5 and 6 LED are the two that are not working right now. So we'll attempt to desolder those, and see, I've got my soldering iron here, my old trusty Weller temperature controlled magnetic monster. Just wetted a little paper towel in there to be able to clean the tip. We'll turn it on, let it warm up a minute. Get you back in a little closer so you might be able to see what the hell I'm doing. That looks pretty good. These things were really a technological marvel of the time. I think they came out in the late 60s, early 70s. And the tip in this thing, if you can see it, I'll get it up a little closer, has a magnet on the end of it. And there's a little switch here. And you might have just heard the thing click. And funny thing about magnets is when, just cleaning up the tip here, funny thing about magnets is when you heat them, they will lose their magnetism at a certain temperature. And whoever designed this thing was quite adept at it. You could buy tips. I don't think you can even get them anymore, so when this thing dies, it's dead. But you can buy tips in different temperatures from like 650, 700 degrees, 750, and all sorts of different styles and points and stuff like that on them. So instead of like a standard iron that just had a 30 or 60 watt heating element and just would run amok, these things are to maintain their temperature for precision soldering. So another item I'm going to use today, now I got to zoom out again here. Zoom out, there we go. This is called a solder pult or solder sucker. What it is, it's a little plunger device. You click her down and press this button, and it creates a vacuum, and it will draw the molten solder off the components. So it makes it easy to clean out the circuit board holes. Well, let's see if this thing works. I just bought this a couple weeks ago, so we'll give it a try here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is one that we want to take out of here. Well, that didn't do so well. Sometimes you need to add a little solder to the thing you want to unsolder, just to make sure you're heating it all the way through and drawing stuff out. And that looked like it kind of worked. And you might notice there's a bit of solder on that metal tip there. I'm just going to do this kind of the old-fashioned way here. Just going to grab a hold of 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5 here. I'm just going to kind of grab hold of the thing and heat the leads on it. And try to get them both at once here. This puppy right out of here. My goodness. Not being cooperative. Got a little bit off the board, but not quite. Now I've got a thumbnail underneath of it. Burn my fingers off, it'll pry out of there. Come on. There we go. And we have removed the offending LED. Going to again dip a little fresh solder on there. Heat the thing up. Half the problem here is we're moving around. Should have this thing in a better holder. And that one looks like it worked. I got a clean hole through. Well, I've got one cleared out. Hopefully my head's not in the way here. Get that sucker nice and hot. And give it a slap. There we go. Both holes are cleared. Let's see. Maybe we can show you that, I don't know. Maybe. Think you can see the light shining through behind, showing the holes are cleaned. So, today, this is not gonna, I'll film this again. Well anyway, today I went to Radio Shack, got a couple of high brightness white LEDs, and prior to starting this I did test them by just touching them to the back of the board here, and there's, I'll do a better video of this afterwards, a little bit more close-up. But there's one long lead and one short lead. The long lead is the positive side, and the short lead is the negative side. Poke this thing in through the holes. Hello. And there we have the LED. Get a little bit more close up on this. Okay, there's the LED in place. Just going to set it down. Hell, it looks a lot longer. Boy, I don't know whether it's going to work or not. This might project out too far. But just for shits and giggles, let's glue one down. I'm going to need something to hold that up with. So, there we go. A kitchen sponge. Just for temporary. Try to line that puppy up, and I'll just give it a little zap here. Solder that in place. Turn it over carefully. Hopefully we can see this. Hopefully it will light up. Ah yes. And strangely enough, the one next to it is now working. Wow. That is not quite as bright as the rest. Interesting. Interesting. Oh yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see what I get done here. We'll come back to this in a few. All right, after a bunch of mucking around, we have now gotten all the LEDs to work. Obviously this one is a little dimmer than the rest, but they are all functioning. I did have to do a little surgery on the one, and I'll explain that further on. But looks like the operation was a success, and we'll plug this thing back together. I think this is recording. Just as an afterthought, this little thing was about $8 or whatever. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 LEDs there, and 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. 4 times 6 is 24. 28 LEDs for $8. I mean, you can gut one of these suckers and use those as replacements for your light also. Okay, well, we're back on track here. I'm gonna light this all up here. You can see there's the one oddball LED I plugged in here. Let's get it back into focus again. There's the one oddball. I had to do a little mod to that because it was sticking out way too far, but I guess these LEDs are in series, in pairs, so it's probably why I've only experienced like 2 of them going out at once. But anyway, this job is done. I'll do a little more demo on exactly how this was done in a few minutes here. Okay, hopefully you can see this here. You notice there's the replacement LED. It's really, really tall, and it was a lot taller than that because it still had the bubble head on it. What I did was, okay, move over here. There we go. Using a file off the Leatherman tool, I chopped down most of it and then used an emery board to grind it down some more. And then for the final, final finishing, I polished the sucker up on this is a diamond knife sharpening plate, stone, whatever you want to call it. You squirt a little water on it, and then you hone your knife blade on it to sharpen it, and that gives it a pretty fine polish, so it wasn't cloudy like it was after being attacked by a coarse file like that or a emery board. So we're going to put this sucker back together and see what we got. There is the dead LED. I'll probably do a little test with that with an ohm meter and make sure the thing, I'm pretty sure it's just wide open. It's not working, and we can go through that. But a couple other things. Oh, hello. Couple other things I want to go through is, like, the tools you really need to do this sort of thing. There is a, hello, back off. There is a pair of little diagonal cutters. And you may find these things like that size. That's about like 4 inches long. You may find them at sales and stuff, and they're basically garbage. What you want is you want one. That little bugger there costs about $35–40, maybe more today. I'm not sure. And then we have the solder sucker, solder pulse, whatever brand name you want to call it. I think we've already shown this, and back. Turn it over. More lights. There we go. There we go. More lights. This is like a little syringe. Has a Teflon tip on it, an aluminum barrel, and a plunger that latches in that little notch. And there's the release button. When you get your solder heated up, you suck that, put the tip down on where you want to withdraw the solder from, punch the button, it draws it up inside the barrel, and when the thing starts getting clogged up, you unscrew it all and clean it out. And then we have this old puppy. This is a Weller soldering station. I already kind of explained how this thing works. Here's the tip of the soldering iron, and there's a heater barrel there. Maybe I can get this thing apart. I'm kind of wary about doing it because this thing is so frickin' old, it's fragile. But there's a heating element in here, and on the end of this tip, on this back end of this tip, is a magnet that is rated at so many degrees, and when it heats up it loses its magnetism. There's a little reed switch inside the barrel that shuts off the power to the soldering iron. And I think this whole thing is just like a 24-volt transformer, and then the soldering iron handle. It's a Weller, and as you can see before, made in the US of A. Hang on a minute, let me see if we can get this sucker apart. Alright, I've got it unscrewed, and as you can see, this is just a sleeve to hold everything together. Lay that on down there. This part is the heating element right through here, and here is the tip, and see if we can focus on that. It's a 700 degree tip. So this thing has a magnet in it. When the base and the core of this thing hits 700 degrees, somewhere down here in the hole is a one hand it sucks. Anyway, somewhere down there is a reed switch, which you can hear click when I lower that back in. And this whole thing is just the whole hello, where are we? There we are. Get out more. The whole thing is retained by this little screw clamp back here. Now they made several styles that they used. This was the rounded isolated tip, low voltage one. There were direct plug in the wall ones, but they started making these things in like the 1950s. And quite a clever concept. I mean, it's like you get a tip, you could get all sorts of different shaped tips. This is a very small chisel tip. They would go on up to like, a quarter of an inch, which would probably be about back to there in thickness, but still the same length. And you know, they just click and buzz and do their thing. Let me snug this thing down, and we'll turn. We're already recording, okay. So anyway, hopefully we can pick this up here. I'll turn it on. It has a wonderful neon lamp indicator that it's on. And right now you don't hear a thing sizzling or anything. But in about 30 seconds there should be a tick and a click. Right now it's getting hot. It's just hot enough to melt solder. I think that was the click. Cool it down a little bit. Drop it back in the holder and wait again. Click. There it goes. It hit back to 700 degrees. Recovered already. again. Tick. It's back up again. Pretty cool thing, just using a magnet and a switch to just control the temperature. These things have been around since like the 1950s, and they're still built today. Still, I think, still made in the US of A. But anyway, that's the Weller soldering iron for you folks. I don't know exactly what model this thing is. It just says Weller controlled output. Oh, it's a model W-TCP-L. I think the dash L indicates it's a low voltage, 24 volt. The thing goes into a grounded outlet. The tip of the iron is at ground potential, so it's good for static sensitive devices. And, anyway, this thing is a no-name brand solder sucker. Once again, click it down, place it on a glob of solder, and release the thing, and it will draw the solder into the tube. Probably can. Oh yeah, there's all sorts of garbage in there. Probably see there's the solder that's been pulled out of things. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you a couple of tools of the electronics trade from years gone by. I don't think they use this sort of stuff anymore. But, anyway, again, dang, if you can even see it, hold this thing up. Hold this one. Do two here, just for special effects. Here's a comparison of the two LEDs. This one here is the original one that I do believe has no continuity. It's burnt out, and this is a Radio Shack one I bought today. But I had to basically grind off the top of this to get the height down to this height. It's almost the right height. You can. The other ones were built a little shorter, but I cut this thing down almost to where I exposed the LED diodes, but trying to save the thing, and then polished it up on the stone and stuff. And yeah, this maybe get some contrast on there. There is a long lead and a shorter lead. The long lead goes to the positive supply, and the short lead is the ground side. And I think if I were to do this again, I would use one of these puppies. This is an $8 piece of crap flashlight. Has, what did I say, about 30 LEDs in it for $8, and it came with batteries. So if I were to repair one of these things again, I would probably just tear one of these suckers apart and use these LEDs, because they're the almost exact same size as the ones in the other unit. So anyway, we'll edit this sucker up. Thanks for watching. I don't know what all else to say. Yeah. So keep your ears to the ground And don't let the crows get you. Ha! Happy Halloween, folks. While we're at it with cool tools, this is a little screwdriver, pocket screwdriver I've gotten, that comes with 4 tips. They store in the handle. This is the see where I'm going. That's the cap that holds these 3 into the handle when not in use. And here's its companion, straight bladed screwdriver. This one is obviously Phillips. It's a straight blade. They also make them in mini Torx and Allen key sets and stuff. I forget where the hell I got these from. They weren't all that expensive, about $10 a pop or something. But just thought you'd like to see that. And as always, don't get your ear caught in the trap. And the bird is the word. Yes. Don't get your ear caught in the trap, or the frickin' ravens will come peck it out. Just warning you.